I'm Mitchell Johnson, and I'm talking about how to walk with God through anxiety and depression. A 2022 survey of Gen Z found that 42% of them struggle with a mental illness like anxiety and depression. This means that it's important for us as disciples of Jesus to understand how to walk with God through those things. You can think of anxiety like imagining a future without God and his control. So anxiety is like imagining a future without God and his control. And on the other side of things, depression is like imagining the worst things about the past is going to be how things are going to be forever. As someone who struggles with mental illness, I have found different ways to cope and struggle and grow in my faith with Jesus Christ while walking with him through my suffering. Here are some things that you can remember as you walk with God through anxiety and depression. First, remember that emotional honesty is a part of faith. It's okay to be honest with God. He actually wants all of you, and he wants to hear your prayers and your pleads to him. So when things are really hard in your life, don't be afraid to talk to God. Next, faith is not emotional amnesia. Our faith in God actually gives us the courage and boldness to go against the broken world and cling on to God with everything we have. And we can have courage that God is victorious on our behalf and he actually owns tomorrow and the rest of our days. So even if you're in a place of despair and suffering, you still have the present reality that God is coming back to make all things new and to wipe away every tear from our eyes and to make all of our suffering turn into joy. So, if you need additional resources to help you walk with God through anxiety and depression, here are a few. A few recommended podcasts that I have for you guys are from the Austin Stone, the church that I work for. Two of them are called Reframing Emotions. There's one on depression and one on anxiety. And the other one is where I sit down with one of our leaders of our counseling center, Shanda Anderson, and we talk about the question of, is my anxiety my fault? You can find that on the Green Room podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. And lastly, the books I recommend for you guys are Spurgeon's Sorrows by Zach Eswine, On Getting Out of Bed by Alan Noble, and Walking with God Through Pain and Suffering by Timothy Keller. While there's no magic pill to cure suffering like mental illness, thankfully we have our King Jesus Christ who's coming back to make all things new. So put your hope in him.